tanks now, because we're kind of calming down, we're closing now, we're kind of in that vibration now. So we calm down a little bit. Give thanks to the energies that are passing through today. Give thanks for everybody's attention today.
Hold on, you're not closing. Please everybody just sit down. Just sit down. So you should now have a bag full of paper and cloth ripped up, correct? Yeah. Keep that aside. Clyde?
Yes. Yeah?
So, just passing around so you can. So next time, yeah? This is bitter cola. Yes, please start. I'm sorry, the microphone is the thing, you have to raise your voice.
I wouldn't use a PowerPoint or anything, but greetings, this is Galactic Clyde, and today we're going to talk about the energies and what's happening. One of the things about ceremonies and rituals and things that we do, it actually unites us, it bonds us together. The things we take, the unity that we have, is an energy that we build up that really our ancestors that interlink with each other as we work together under this, we become one. You see, and the energy that we bring, that we manifest from this, it goes not just for today. It runs through the week, it runs through the year, it runs through the timeline that we are on the planet, because we have a kind of bonding that is created. And therefore, if I ask one person to take this cup outside, you know, yes, it's a light cup, and they'll take it outside. But if I ask everybody to take it outside, if we're not unified, then it'll be right. We'll be all crashing. Yeah, because we don't have the unity. But with the unity, we can move mountains. And that's what the ceremonies and rituals help us to do. I'm holding here, which is the signs of the zodiac, which is the 12 signs of the zodiac. And actually, this is a very, you know, your astrology signs are linked with this. In the heavens, we have these signs above our heads, yeah? As planetary stars, really, as stars in alignment, yeah? And so, in having this, even if I spin it one spin, it represents 1 year. So, right here, I could do 1 year in just one spin. That's where the magic comes in. So, you can reverse time. Just like understanding the magic of utilizing symbolism. You can also use this, you know, as a symbol for where you have issues in your life based on certain astrological aspect of it. This is dealing with astrology and magic. Because magic is where we're using symbolism as a language to deal with issues that we have in our life. And so most people don't realize that things, that circumstances or changes that they're going through, that they can write it on the chart wheel. You can write what you want to achieve based on what the aspects, hard aspects so that you may have in your life. But that's a different story. Today I'm here to talk about the coming of the Lord of the Black Ring. I've been pumping that on the internet for those people who see me on WhatsApp. What's the Black Ring? What's the Lord of the Black Ring? Okay, we're talking about the planet Saturn. Yes, the planet Saturn have a cycle, which is actually 30 years cycle, 29.5 year cycle. So the last time Saturn was in where it's going on the 20th, Saturn gonna go home in its own sign that it rules. It's like me and you home. Yes, and haven't been home for 29.5 years. It's 30 year cycle. Okay, so that's the spin. Okay. What also is happening is that every year the sun comes back to the same point. The sun is heading to what is called the cross, the southern cross. This is where we get it from in Christianity, the Son dies on the cross. Well, it's S-U-N. It's not a lie, it's the S-U-N. It's not the S-O-N, but the S-U-N. Because every year, the Son comes back to the southern cross, stops the motion, and reverses forward and starts a new cycle. So we're having what is called the rebirth of the Sun. December 21st, we will call it the winter solstice. It's the rebirth of the Sun. But at the same time we're having the rebirth of the Sun, we're having also a 30-year rebirth, which is Saturn coming back as a cycle. So it makes a full circle, is a rebirth, coming back, starts a new cycle. So what we have in the birth of a twin, the black and the gold. Gold for the Sun and the black for Saturn. Now, in looking at this, I realized, wow, 30 years. I've been out of my own country of birth for a little over 30 years. I left my country in 1986 and went to the US to live. And from the US, I'm come here, I'm in the UK. And so I've been back to my country twice, 95 and 96. So for the whole of the Saturn circle, I've been out of my country. Interesting. So 30 years I've been away. Now what Saturn represents? Saturn represents, as what the Babylon was saying, our life work. Our life work and linked with Saturn is the taskmaster. Yes, in our language we don't say Saturn, we say Sekar, or we use other names. Yes, because we're dealing with, from an African standpoint, we're dealing with the deity system. So we don't look at the way how the Europeans, because, oh, that's just a planet there. We look at it as a name, as an entity, as a deity, because the energies are also with us, the spirit of the energy. Yes? And it's in a form where we'll say it's the taskmaster, it's the teacher, it's representing the purpose in the child. So as it comes back to his home, there's an issue here. Because when Saturn returns home, is not comfortable at home. Because as a teacher, the teacher likes to go out and teach, he likes to go out and read some story. And in the world of government, Saturn represents the government. Saturn represents the taskmaster, the police force, and different aspects of leadership. All the business of the world is under Saturn rule, contract. So as it's home, it has to deal with what? Issues of its own self, which puts it in a weak position. Yes, home should be a place of strength, but not for Saturn, because he likes to go out there and teach and lead and do all of this stuff. So as he comes back home to start his new cycle, it puts it in a weak position. And you see why I'm saying this to tell you, let you know that the authorities are going to be in a weak position because of this. Because, yes, long lost, because it represents accountability. Because that's what Saturn goes around. I'll show you where Capricorn is. This is his sign. Yes? It goes around from that cycle to another cycle. But when it's like this, we talk about this is east. Yes? So what happens in astrology, I'll use this wheel to demonstrate. This is true east, Aries, it's true east. Yes? But what happens as this wheel turns every 2 hours? While we're here every 2 hours, this wheel is spinning. Yes? So we said this is east. But this is also east. But this is also east. But in a different manner. So the sun starts here in the east and the sun moves here. And the wheel is still turning. Yes? So we're in the southern hemisphere in the sense of the astrology based on where we are in England. And people who are in places like Africa are all in the northern. So that's why they're experiencing summer while we're experiencing winter. I've just been to Zimbabwe and they're saying they're coming into winter. They're coming into summer while we're going into winter. When we went there, it was spring because we went there in September and it was fall over here. So it's big because the world is like one circle. Half of it is light and half is dark, half is hot, half is cold. In that sense. Okay? So I want you to understand that diagram. Yeah? But the cycles are very important because I call that the different spins or the galactic spins. So there's different spins that is happening in the planet that spins off to what we have what's happening in the work. It's all interlinked. Many times we don't see that because we're not taught to understand how this goes. You understand? But from 1988, when Saturn goes into its own home sign, you can look from there to now where we are. But what is interesting with this new cycle, because what happens when it comes back to its own sign, that means it forms a complete ring or complete cycle. Yeah? That's a complete spin. And then a new spin begins. Yes? Which is a new cycle. But what's interesting about this spin, it's also happening with the Mercury retrograde. So as astrologers, we do a chart for these different cycles. What's involved, what to expect from the cycle, based on all the different dynamics that is happening. So now we have the Mercury retrograde as part of the new cycle of Saturn. So Saturn's new cycle starts at the 28th of this month, when he actually in the sign of Capricorn or home. But at the same time it's been entered home, Mercury is been in retrograde. So it means that part of his 30-year journey would involve Mercury retrograde, because it's coded in the energy. So that means it's not only that we're dealing with our accountability, but we also have to focus on what is going on within us on a personal level. And this is a worldwide, what it's called, I call it a worldwide Saturn return. You wouldn't hear these in the news media, you wouldn't hear this, you wouldn't read this in the tabloids, astrology, because this is not areas that they deal with. You understand? The stuff that I talk with astrology, you wouldn't hear that from most people that are considered expert in astrology. You understand? Because I've got a guy who's considered the #1 astrologer in the world. He lives in Arizona, somewhere over there, yeah? And I remember he wrote a book that I read a couple of years ago. When I got the book, I go through the book and I was like, mistake. So I write him about this mistake. I said, oh, we don't deal with Mercury retrograde, and oh, sorry about these other things that, yes, somebody else edited his stuff and he didn't check it out. But he makes some correction, but he don't deal with Mercury retrograde. But now, a couple of years after, he started talking about Mercury retrograde and stuff like that. But you know, you get these things. I'm not trying to make myself, think, but you see for yourself. Yes? But don't worry or don't get confused because somebody's quote unquote expert if they're not giving you stuff that you can deal with, that you can live with. Now Saturn going into Capricorn have different meanings for every one of us in that sense, because Capricorn or the sign Capricorn or the area of structure in our life is different for everybody, based on the sun sign, based on the rising and things of that nature. It may sound a little bit complicated, but what happens, say for instance, we're in London. Something is happening in central London. Somebody close to the event might be more affected than somebody around the perimeter, or maybe because of family ties or different things are happening. But the same thing is happening at the same place, but it's affecting everybody differently. Okay? You understand that? Yeah. So what happens, this is a time that we're coming in and dealing with personal restructuring of our lives. This is very important. We have to deal, a lot of it is going to become of as accountability. So now, my accountability, I've been out of my country for 30 years. Now I have to come to grips with, well, I've been out for 30 years, I'm an ambassador, shouldn't I? Yeah. What do I have after 30 years to take back? What do I have to share with those people who have left down there, or even my people from my country who are here or somewhere else? It's accountability. You understand? Even for me, I've been studying astrology for quite some time, from since 1995 around there. And so my accountability, what am I able to do or effect a change for other people that don't have that knowledge? So accountability comes in many ways for us, because we're dealing with the planet that rules our life work. And so I think in the Yoruba system that would be, is it Olodumare?
Yes, yeah? Yes, Olodumare.
Yes, so we're dealing with Olodumare, accountability to source. Yeah? And so what's going to happen in the world, you're going to have a lot of fallout in terms of government. Because as the sheep is pulled off and we're able to see what they've been dealing with, this is where accountability comes. There's a fall. You understand? These are what's going to happen. Because they can't stop it, because it's not happening down, it's not coming from down here. The dictation is not happening from down here. It's happening from the heavens. So as I was on the radio and I was saying the other day, when the internet was created, it wasn't created for us. All them computer technology wasn't created for it. But what happened? We got it anyway. Yes? And there's lots of things that they're doing behind the scenes, using our brains, using different technologies from the youth that they come with and they capture and they make certain things. Not for us. But what's going to happen? We're going to end up with that. Because as accountability takes place, more lights come in that they're hiding. You see, Saturn is the Lord of Black. His color is black. Sometimes you see it green as well. Yes? And we as the melanated people, black is our power. You know, some people say, well, I'm not black. Well, the Africans, the ancients, look at themselves as black. And they say, well, I'm melanated. Well, what color is melanin? It is black. So when we're talking about black, we're talking about melanin. We're talking about the secret of the universe. Even white is also black. What am I talking about? White is the masculine aspect of black. Black is feminine, white is masculine. It's one color. One is male, one is female. Don't let it fool you. It's one color. They have a male and a female aspect. One is hidden and one is revealed. One is light and one is dark. It doesn't mean negative and positive in that sense. Yes? So yes, melanin, and just think about the black and the gold, because it means that the sun, which is the gold, impacting the melanin, which is the black, brings out some of the secrets. You understand? So you're gonna see revelation after revelation, especially because Mercury retrograde. Because when Mercury retrograde, it means that it means you're going back. You're going back like the Sankofa bird to come forward. Wheel and come again, as they say in Jamaican. Yes? And that's some of the things you're going to see. But another thing that is happening, and that's happening just before Saturn starts his new cycle in the 80s, around the early 83, we have Pluto and Saturn conjunct. Now that's an explosion within itself, because Pluto deals with the underworld. You understand what's happening in the underworld, and also what's happening with the above as well. Because Pluto, the sign that it rules is Scorpio, the secrets. You know, some people they identify Pluto with the mafia or the different undercount or the ghetto youths and things like that. That's the Plutonian energy. You understand? And when Pluto and Saturn rules meet together, it's an explosion, because Pluto deals with transformation. Saturn deals with structure. So we've seen a restructuring of the world. That's what's coming. Because as that happened in 83, it happened every 33 years plus. And so it's going to happen again as we move into 2020. 2020, January, I think it's 12 or somewhere around there. But in early January 2020 is the exact Saturn-Pluto conjunction, which sets the whole restructuring. But we're moving towards that as Saturn. Pluto is in Capricorn, Saturn is in going to enter Capricorn in 20. Yeah? Pluto is in the second decan, meaning 20-something, 18 degrees. Saturn will be 0 going into Capricorn. But as they meet in 2020, it's a powerful restructuring, because we're going to see these are the things that's happening. And restructuring is going to deal with government and all of the different authoritative figures, because Saturn is authority. I remember in my country we used to get a guy called, his name is Patrick Harris. He used to say, I am the law. I am the only law in town. As an astrologer, the first thing I would think of that person is a Saturn person. That's how Saturn thinks. He's the only law in town. You understand? So when he has to do his self-analysis or self-evaluation or assessing of self, this is what Saturn coming into Capricorn means. They have to do self-assessment. And self-assessment is going to look good for all the bad records that's been happening. And you're going to see that with the police, you're going to see that with the military, you're going to see that with a lot of the things that is happening on the planet so far. And a lot of the secrets that have been hiding is going to come to light. And you're going to be like, wow, Galactic was right. Because he's in the cycles. You understand? So we're coming up to some very interesting rules. Another thing that's going to be happening, also Uranus in Aries is going to move into Taurus, the planet of revolution. It's in Aries now. It's in but internal revolution. We're dealing with revolution. The Aries is more the sign that deal with young people or your personality, things of that nature. And as is in Aries, we're dealing with the revolution of Saturn. But as it moves into Taurus, we're dealing with values, integrity, the revolution in these areas. How valuable these people have been to us. They take your money, they take your tax, they take all kind of stuff. And what they do, they build all these underground centers and all this stuff that they're doing. Yes? And we don't know where the money is being spent or how it's been spent. But as Peter Sass said, they never build the people. You see how much million they say they sent to Zimbabwe. You read how much 2,200 and something million they sent to Zimbabwe.
They say so.
Yeah? Where's that money used for? What is that money used for? To undermine the country. Not to support the poor, as they say, as they claim. It's all the undermining system. So all these freebies that they say they're doing is just a means of getting in, is like what they call the soft targets. They're just going and undermine. But all of these secrets will come to light because we're dealing with accountability. That's the powerful word.